The psalmist moves from God's sovereign control over the nations to his comprehensive knowledge of all humanity. These verses reveal the scope of divine observation and the limits of human strength. The Lord looketh from heaven. He beholdeth all the sons of men. Psalm 33:13. The phrase looketh from heaven establishes God's vantage point. Heaven represents his throne, the place of ultimate authority. The verb looketh means to see with purpose and attention. God does not just glance at creation. He observes with full awareness. The phrase, he beholdeth all the sons of men, emphasizes the comprehensive nature of God's vision. Beholdeth means to see clearly and completely. The expression, all the sons of men, includes every person without exception. No one escapes God's notice. Geography does not limit him. Buildings do not hide people from his sight. Darkness does not obscure his view. Solomon understood this truth when he prayed at the temple dedication. Then hear thou from heaven thy dwelling place, and forgive and render unto every man according unto all his ways, whose heart thou knowest. For thou only knowest the hearts of all the children of men. 2 Chronicles 6:30. God sees not only actions, but also the motivations of people. He knows what happens in secret chambers and hidden places. From the place of his habitation, he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. Psalm 33:14. This verse reinforces the previous statement. The phrase, the place of his habitation, refers to God's dwelling in heaven. The word looketh appears again, stressing continuous observation. God does not watch occasionally. He maintains constant awareness. The phrase, all the inhabitants of the earth, leaves no one outside God's knowledge. Every person in every location remains under divine scrutiny. The king in his palace and the beggar in the street both live before God's eyes. The rich and the poor, the powerful and the weak, all stand equally visible to him. Hagar discovered this reality in the wilderness. She fled from Sarah's harsh treatment and sat alone by a spring of water. The angel of the Lord found her there and spoke to her. After their conversation, she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Genesis 16:13. Even in her isolation, God saw her. Even in her desperation, he knew her circumstances. He fashioneth their hearts alike, he considereth all their works. Psalm 33:15. The phrase, he fashioneth their hearts alike, declares God's role as creator. The word fashioneth means to form or shape. God made every human being. The expression, their hearts, refers to the inner person, the mind, will, and emotions. God formed each person. The phrase, he considereth all their works, reveals God's evaluation of human activity. Considereth means to understand fully and judge accurately. The word all excludes nothing. God examines every deed, every word, and every thought. No action goes unnoticed, and no motive remains hidden. David acknowledged this truth in another psalm. O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my downsitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Psalm 139, 1-4. God's knowledge penetrates to the deepest level. He understands what people think even before they speak. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. Psalm 33:16. This verse introduces a warning about misplaced confidence. The phrase, "No king saved by the multitude of an host," addresses military power. Multitude of an host refers to a large army. Kings often trust in the size of their forces. They count soldiers and weapons. They calculate advantages, but numbers do not guarantee victory. The phrase, "A mighty man is not delivered by much strength," speaks to individual power. Mighty man describes a warrior of great physical ability. Much strength refers to personal prowess in battle. Yet strength alone does not preserve life. Physical power has limits. Human ability reaches a boundary it cannot cross. King Saul learned this lesson through painful experience. He stood head and shoulders above other Israelites. He possessed physical stature and natural leadership qualities. Yet when he disobeyed God, all his advantages meant nothing. Samuel told King Saul, "Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king." 1 Samuel 15:23. Saul's strength could not save him from the consequences of his rebellion against God. An horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Psalm 33:17. The phrase, "An horse is a vain thing for safety," addresses military technology. In ancient warfare, horses represented advanced weaponry. Cavalry units provided speed and power. Chariots drawn by horses dominated battlefields. Nations invested in horse breeding and training. Yet the psalmist calls this a vain thing. The word vain means worthless or futile. Horses cannot guarantee safety. The phrase, "Neither shall he deliver any by his great strength," reinforces the warning. Despite the horse's power and speed, it cannot save its rider. Great strength refers to the animal's physical capabilities, yet this strength has boundaries. The horse cannot overcome divine judgment. It cannot protect against God's purposes. Israel received specific instructions about this matter. Moses warned future kings, "But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses. Forasmuch as the Lord hath said unto you, Ye shall henceforth return no more that way." Deuteronomy 17:16. God wanted his people to trust him, not military hardware. He wanted them to depend on his power, not their own resources. These verses establish fundamental truths about God's knowledge and human limitations. The Lord sees everything. He knows every one. He judges all actions. Human strength fails. Military might disappoints. Physical power reaches its end. Only God provides true security. Human observation remains limited. God's vision encompasses all. Human strength eventually exhausts itself, but God's power never diminishes.